In lesson 9-6.6, the main idea is to write equations in point-slope form, standard form, and slope-intercept form. The new one here is the standard form. Point-slope form we've already looked at. That's the y minus y1 equals m times quantity x minus x1. So we do have a new one here, the standard form that we'll be working with today. Standard form is a linear equation of the form a times x, where a is a coefficient, plus b times y, and b is a coefficient, equals c, and c is a coefficient. A, b, and c are integers with a greatest common factor of 1. So what that means is if you had like 2x plus 4y equals 8, you should be able to divide this whole thing by 2 to be x plus 2y equals 4. They all need to be integers, so in other words, you can't have like 1/2 x plus 3y equals 4 either. If that happens, you need to multiply the whole thing by 2, so that way you can get this to be just x plus 6y equals 8. You can't have any fractions, and we want the greatest common factor to be 1, so we want none of them to be like all even or something like that. Point-slope form is the linear equation of the form y minus y1 equals m times quantity x minus x1, where x1, y1 is a given point on a non-vertical line, and m is the slope of the line. So it means it can't be a line like this, where it's straight up and down, because then we know that the slope is undefined. So you can't write it in point-slope form if it's undefined. Alright, and then last but not least, we have the y equals mx plus b, which I think we're pretty familiar with at this point. Alright, so slope-intercept obviously is y equals mx plus b. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. And then the point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times quantity x minus x1. Alright, so let's start using these things. Now, this is really important that we read the directions, okay? It says write the point-slope form of the equation of the line through the given point with the given slope. Alright, so that's just y minus y1 equals m times quantity x minus x1. Okay, I do expect you to write the original form of the equation. Okay, if it says write in point-slope form, write point-slope form, what that looks like without any numbers in it. If it says standard form, you're going to write ax plus by equals c. Okay, you have to start by writing the original form of the equation. So the point is negative 3, 3. So it's going to be y minus 3 is the y value equals m, which is the slope, negative 2 times quantity x minus x1 is negative 3. So we can change that. Okay, so we can fix that. Alright, so we have y minus 3 equals negative 2 times quantity x plus 3. Okay, and then that's actually, we're finished. If you want to rewrite it to clean that up, you can say y minus 3 equals negative 2 x plus 3, and then you leave it just like this. I don't want you to distribute or anything else. Okay, when we did this in the past, in past years, students always want to go further than this. This right here is point-slope form. Okay, it looks just like this, except for we have numbers in it, so make sure you stop here. Now it says to graph the equation. Well, by looking at this, we know that point-slope form slope can be found right there. And we know the x value is right there and the y value is right there. So we have 3. We know that that's actually negative 3 because it should be subtraction. Or you can just look back up your point right here. So we have negative 3, 3. And we have a slope of negative 2. So that means it's going down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Once you get just, a few points on there, we can go ahead and graph that line. Just like that. And we're set. Okay, so this right here is part of your answer, and the graph over here is the other part of your answer. You'll need to have both of those, so you might want to do this homework. Well, actually, I'm going to give you a worksheet for this assignment, but otherwise you could use grid paper, graph paper. Alright, so again it says write the point-slope form of the line. So we have to write y minus y1 equals m times quantity x minus x1. Okay, you have to write the equation. Now let's start plugging in what we know. So y minus 1 equals 1/5 x minus 5. And that's it. We're done. Okay, none of these were negatives, so we didn't have to fix any uh-ohs or anything like that. I'm finished right now. You don't have to do anything more. You don't have to distribute this. Now we do need to graph it. So we have 5, 1, which is here. And we're having a slope of 1, rise 1, run 5. So I'm actually going to fall 1 and go back 5, which gets me back to the origin. Okay, as long as I have 2 points, I can go ahead and graph the line. So we'll graph it right through there, and we're set. Okay, so that's how you can answer this problem. Write the point-slope form of the equation when given 2 points. Okay, so I have 2 points here, as opposed to before I had the slope. So remember what we need to do here for these. I have to have y minus y1 equals m times quantity x minus x1. You have to have x1, y1, and m in order to write point-slope form. So what I don't have is m, but I do have 2 points. So now I need to do m equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. All right, I'm going to make this my point 2 and this my point 1. So I'm going to work this out over here. M equals, okay, y2 is negative 1 minus y1 is 5 all over x2 is 4 minus negative 4. All right, so I do have an O right there. Let's fix that. So M equals, I'll have negative 6 over 8, which is negative 3 over 4. Okay, so this is my slope. So now I can go ahead and pick either one of these two values. It does not matter. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use 0.1 because it says y1 and x1. It doesn't matter though at all. So we're gonna do y minus y1 is 5 equals negative 3/4 times x minus x1. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say plus 4 because that would have been minus negative 4, so I'm going to change it to plus 4. And I'm actually done right now. It just says write the point-slope form of the equation when given 2 points. So you need to have all this work over here because that's how you find m. And then you just go over here and plug in one of your 2 points along with your slope that we found over here. So we have a lot of things going on here. You have to find the slope, and then it's just a matter of plugging it in. All right, so write each equation in standard form. Just so we remember what standard form is, I'm going to write it over here. You should all start by writing standard form ax plus by equals c. So we need to get it so that we have an x first, y second, and then c is over here. All right. So in order to do this, we need to go ahead and simplify this out and distribute. So we're going to go y plus 4 equals 2x plus 4. At this point, I know I need my x values on the left, okay, and I need my y values on the left, and I need all of my constants over here on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and move my x value minus 2x on both sides. So I'm going to get negative 2x plus y plus 4 equals 4. I'm going to go ahead and subtract my constant from both sides. I'm going to have negative 2x plus y equals 0. Okay, now let's think about what we said that a standard form must have. Because right now we are actually in standard form. It's negative 2x, that's your ax. So what is a? Negative 2 plus y. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to put a 1 in there. Plus 1y. What's b? b is 1. And equal to 0. So what's c? c is 0. Okay. Now this is considered standard form. Do all of these numbers have a greatest common factor of 1? Yes. There's no other number that can go into both 2 and 1 other than 1. And everything's an integer. -2 is an integer, 1 is an integer, 0 is an integer. So we're done here. The answer would be -2x plus 1y equals 0, and that's your full complete answer. Write each equation in standard form. So again, get in a habit. You're always going to write this down. ax plus by equals c. All right, so in order to get started, we have to distribute. So we're going to do y minus 3 equals -2/5 x plus, because I'm doing a negative times a negative. Now the 5's are going to cancel here, okay, because it's 5 over 1. So the 5's will cancel. All right, and then so you're just going to be left with plus 2. Okay, so again, look at your standard form. We need our x's on the left. We need the constants on the right. So we're going to have to move this -3 over here. We're going to have to move this -2/5 x over there. So let's start with the x expression. So we have plus 2/5 x on both sides. All right, this is going to be gone. We're going to have 2/5 x plus y minus 3 equals 2. All right, now we need to get rid of this 3. So plus 3 on both sides. So I'm going to be left with 2/5 x plus, I'm going to change this to 1y. This is gone, equals 5. All right, now, so A is 2/5, B is 1, C is 5, but I can't have a rational number. I can't have a fraction. I need them all to be integers. So in order to get rid of this thing right here, let's go ahead and multiply this whole equation by 5. Okay, and by multiplying by 5, we're going to cancel this 5 here, so you're going to be left with 2x. Okay, and then you got to do 5 times 1y, so plus 5y equals, now you got to do 5 times 5, which is 25. Okay, think about it. This whole thing remains true because whatever you're doing on one side, you're doing it to the other. You're doing the same exact thing to this other side. So that's why it's important you put this bracket around the whole thing, okay, and you're multiplying it to everything. So kind of it's like distribution. Here, here, and also way over here. As long as you do it to both sides of the equation, we're fine. Now, 5 and 25 can be simplified, but 2 can only be simplified by 1. So the greatest common factor of 2, 5, and 25 is just 1, because 2 cannot go into those. So this right here is going to be my final answer in standard form. What is A? A is 2. Okay, if we look at the equation up above, A is 2, so 2x plus 5y. B is 5, and equals 25. C is 25. So that's, if I ask you what is the B coefficient, you would just say 5. Write each equation in slope-intercept form. So we need this in y equals mx plus b form. I do want to see you writing the equation of the form that we want. Start with that every time. That way I know that you're actually reading the directions. Okay, read your directions and write down the form that we want. All right, now slope-intercept form, you're going to want to distribute everything. So let's go with y minus 2 equals -2/3 x. Now here, the 3's are going to cancel, so you're just going to left with -2. All right, now look at this form. In slope-intercept form, you only have a y on the left. So we want to get rid of this plus 2. Okay, so y equals -2/3 x. And this is going to be plus 0. So that's going to cancel. So I'm not going to write anything. Okay, now do I have it in slope-intercept form? Y equals -2/3 x. I could write plus 0, but we know that in slope-intercept form you don't have to write plus 0. So this is going to be my final answer. I don't have to write anything else. Now where is this line crossing the y-axis? Right at the origin, right at 0. Okay, so it's going to start at the origin, just like this. And the slope is -2/3, so we know that the line is going to be coming through like that, going down from left to right because it's a negative slope. So if we're going to graph it, it would look something like this. We know that it's going through the origin because there's no b value or y-intercept value. All right, if you want some more help with this assignment, be sure to check the answer key that I've posted onto Moodle.